Let's play devil's advocate. Let's say it does happen. What team in the West that comes out of the West are the Miami Heat beating? So it brings exactly what I'm saying. The point that I'm trying to make is the Miami Heat are fool's gold. They're a team that shows up when the playoffs start, look good, and guess what? They lose steam in the big moment. They do. You know, we've officially reached the point of the year where everyone starts overhyping and praising a team that we know in the end is going to fall flat. I'm talking about the Miami Heat here, man. I just want to talk about them for a second. It's a shame because for all the talent in the world that they have on that team, from Bam Adebayo to Jimmy Butler, they acquired Terry Rozier. They still have Tyler Hero. Who is he injured right now? All right.
Yep.
Again, this is a team that will never break through. As unfortunate as that is, Jimmy Butler's aging. He's not the same player that he was a couple of years ago. He doesn't play with the same consistency that he did a couple of years ago. But when I look at it, for all the great playoff performances that he has had, and he has had great playoff performances, that equates to nothing for the Miami Heat at the end of the day. When I look at some of these teams, or just around the league, not just the Miami Heat, I mean, they just stick out like a sore thumb because this is always the point of the year where they start to turn on and everybody's like, oh, watch out for Miami. No, I'm not watching out for Miami. I'm sorry, I'm not. They haven't shown anything. They haven't proven anything. This has been a team for the longest time. They have a very similar, they feel very Patriot-esque, if you will. And what I mean by that is a team that has a proven history of, oh, they're tough to beat, oh, Heat culture, oh. But in the end, we all know it's going to fall flat. We all know we were hyping it up. And while they might have some performances inside the playoffs that makes you think that maybe they can shock, maybe they can break through, it all results in the exact same thing, which is Jimmy Butler putting up a 15-point game at some point or another and falling flat, and it'd be an absolute stinker, is because I don't think that the Miami Heat truly have a game changer on their team anymore. I don't think that they do. I don't think Jimmy is that game changer anymore for his team. I don't think he is. And it's sad to say that because I've always liked Jimmy Butler. But I don't want to just pick on Jimmy. I feel the same way about Giannis and the Bucks and Damian Lillard. Inconsistent. One game you put up 45 points, the next game you put up 15, next game you put up 16. It's not consistent. There are a lot of teams out there. So I just wanted to debunk some of that because there are a lot of teams that are getting a lot of love right now. And I don't think that it's with any merit.
Yeah, I'm on the other side with Miami Heat, to be honest with you. I think the Heat are the second best team.
Taylor's oldest time. Everybody says this, but then when it comes to the playoffs,
they show up. And
they show up, but do they break through?
And that's the conversation where I'm going to be honest. I see it. The Celtics are the bona fide #1 team. It's the Miami Heat. I do not see the Bucks making the finals. I do not see the Knicks making the finals. I do not see the Magic making the finals.
Okay, so point example.
Yeah.
I can assure you, if the Miami Heat somehow break through this year and they get to the NBA championship, the NBA finals, whatever team is in the West is going to absolutely destroy them. To me, it's fool's gold. It's a team that's not going to break through. Because, listen, make no mistake about it. The Miami Heat are not better than this year's Celtics team.
No.
Right.
Not
and
even
if
close.
they beat the Celtics somehow this year, it's going to be in large part to, I believe, having a team's number. Not because you're more talented or better. But I don't think that's going to happen. But even, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say it does happen. What team in the West that comes out of the West are the Miami Heat beating? So it brings exactly what I'm saying. The point that I'm trying to make is the Miami Heat are fool's gold. They're a team that shows up when the playoffs start, look good, and guess what? They lose steam in the big moment. They do. And it happens year after year after year after year after year.
Yeah.
And I think a large part of that is because they don't have that game changer. With the Celtics, you can look at it. Okay, they have a Jason Tatum.
Yes.
To me, the piece that the Celtics had this year that's going to take them over the top, everybody's talking about Kristaps Porzingis. I'm not. I'm talking about Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday's defense, and I think what he's able to bring to that team, and Derek White. I think those are two guys that are going to shock a lot of people this year, especially when it comes times in the playoffs when you need that defense that defensive mentality to show up. I actually trust Kristaps Porzingis to show up more than Jason Tatum consistently in the playoff picture. I really do, and I think it's because sometimes the moment gets a little too big for Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown shows up, he plays, puts up his like 15, 18, 20, whatever a game. He'll do that for you. But I think Kristaps Porzingis is truly what his nickname is, a unicorn. He's very hard to defend. He's very hard to game plan for. You don't know what and I just like what the Boston Celtics have as far as depth. You still got that kid, Sam Hauser, knocking down threes and doing a lot of extra stuff. When I look at the Miami Heat, it's Jimmy Butler. It's Bam Adebayo. Great. It's Terry Rozier. Tyler Hero if he's healthy. Okay. But other than that, I'm just being like, Haywood Highsmith? What are we talking about here? But it's not just the Heat, though. The people are making a lot about the Pelicans right now.
And that's another team, I think, Malik, to be honest, I think the Pelicans are so overrated. 1,000%. We may have Pelican fans coming for our head, but let's be honest. You guys have a great roster. Let me just start off by saying that I love your roster. I love Trey Murphy. I love Herb Jones. I love Jose Alvarado off the bench. That's not what we're talking about, though. I watched the Pelicans live in Indiana against Pacers. They got mollywopped by the Pacers. But I just look at, first off, how are they going to win in the playoffs? Their defense is elite. But Zion, is he really going to be the engine to your offense?
Come on, we know that now. The guy was a one-trick pony, dribble, drive to the basket. That's what he does.
And Malik, it's fool's gold right now. They're 8-2 in the past 10 games. He's having an amazing run. But I think they have too many cooks in the kitchen. Brandon Ingram's an elite scorer. Zion Williamson, an elite scorer. CJ McCollum, a great scorer. But when you look at who you face and who you've lost to, the Orlando Magic, a very good team, you lost to them. The Clippers, you beat them, sure. You lost to the Cavaliers. You lost to the Pacers. Any real team that you guys have faced, you lost to the Lakers. You've lost to the Celtics. You lost to the Bucks. You lost to the Thunder. The rest of these teams you're beating are the Wizards. You beat the Knicks, sure. But I think the Pelicans truly, Malik, I think they're fool's gold. I don't think that they beat the Lakers in the playoffs. We saw that matchup earlier. I just think that they've got a great team. They have great defense. But I just don't see the true offensive identity that's going to take them 7 games in 2 straight series. They may win 1 series, Malik. I can see them beating a Timberwolves who they've had their number. But do I see them beating a Thunder, a Nuggets, a Lakers, even a Mavericks? Do I see them beating any of those 4 teams? Maybe the Mavericks. I do not see them as championship contending teams 100%. At all.
And I agree with you on that statement. You think about the teams that they have beat, the Raptors, right? Who have no defensive presence right now, especially with the injury of Scotty Barnes. They've traded away Pascal Siakam to the Pacers. Hasn't really worked out. It hasn't worked out for the Raptors since they've done that. When you think about it, they beat the 76ers with no Joel Embiid. They beat the Atlanta Hawks with no Trae Young. They lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat the Clippers, who everybody knows Ivica Zubac trying to stop Zion Williamson is just a bad idea. They beat the Trailblazers. Once again, the Trailblazers, they beat the Nets. They lost to the Magic, to your point. They beat the Miami Heat, right? Another fool's gold team. And they beat the Detroit Pistons. But when you look at it, to me, there's no win in there that has been really impressive for me to say, hey, this is the team that might go. Now, listen, I think the Clippers are a team that can I think the Clippers were sort of like an impressive victory for them, only because of who you beat. Kawhi Leonard was there, right? Paul George was there.
No Harden.
But it was no Harden, right? So when I look at it, I'm like, the Pelicans haven't proven anything to me to make me think that this is a team that can finally break through. I think the Lakers would be loving that matchup in the playoffs if they got them. I just don't. I think there are a lot of teams that have a lot of fool's gold centered around them. A lot of teams that make you think that, oh wow, they can make a push. But when it comes down to teams that could potentially win a championship, there are a couple teams that stick out to me. I've talked about it before. It's the Lakers, it's the Mavericks, right? It's the Celtics, and I'm probably missing a team in here. Oh, the Nuggets. The Nuggets in there. And believe it or not, I think the Timberwolves are a team that could probably shock some people too. I like what they're doing with the team. I like the depth on the team. Some of these teams that I mentioned here are just teams that just don't move the needle for me. And I think that it's going to show. I think it's going to rear its ugly head. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys thoughts are. Are we being too hard on the Pelicans? Am I being too hard on the Heat? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think and what your predictions are for the upcoming NBA playoff picture. If you like my video content like this, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content from the First Star Logistics studio.